If you look around the world, we'll always find so many teachings and instructions and stories about wisdom. And the reason wisdom is so crucial for everyone, the why everyone is going after strategies to learn plans, to learn how to do things well, because they know that when they learn to do things well, the result is high, the reward is higher. Everybody is advocating training in every aspect of your life. Either it's how to do your marriage, either how to do the parenting, either how to fly a plane or how to build a car. And there are books written on it, there are different training manuals on it, and there are a lot of teachings out there trying to give people wisdom and information on how to do certain things, how to do it well, because everybody wants to receive a greater result in whatever they do. You know, from centuries we have seen the world has valued wisdom. Even well-known philosopher teachers that we talk about, that we know about, we find them quoting about wisdom, talking about wisdom, giving several references about wisdom. You know, while we were growing up, we hear so many stories about a rabbit and the race between a rabbit and a turtle, or a crying boy at the village. You know, he was not trusted because he used to lie about lion attacking his sheep. Or the lesson of turtle and rabbit racing was slow and steady wins the race. And there's so many moral stories. Why? Because everybody is after wisdom, because they know, once they know well how to do things, how effective their lives can be. You know, that's how our whole education system is built that way, that we have to go through a training. We have to train our minds. We have to learn things. We have to invest in ourselves. We have to invest in our knowledge, because it helps us to do things that we want to do. And the world has understood the importance of wisdom. You know, we have been talking about wisdom from last 2 weeks. We've been talking about wisdom in last two videos that we're going to see. We have talked about the value of wisdom. We have talked about how wisdom is a promise of God, and why God has talked so much about wisdom, that King Solomon, when he wrote Proverbs, he talked so much about wisdom because he understood the importance of wisdom above everything else. Proverbs chapter 2 verse 1-5 says this: "My son, if you accept my words and store up my commands within you, turning your ear to wisdom and applying your heart to understanding, indeed, if you call out for insight and cry aloud for understanding, and if you look for it as for silver and search for it as for hidden treasure, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God." No, because that wisdom, what we get from God, the wisdom that God gives us, rewards us highly. The rewards that God's wisdom brings in our life is eternal reward. And that's what we're going to look into. We're not going to go in every single rewards, because if you read Proverbs, you can find many, but we're going to look at top 3 eternal rewards of wisdom, why wisdom is important in our life, and how wisdom rewards us. The first one is wisdom brings guidance from God. If you read Proverbs 3:21-24, it says this: "My son, let them not vanish from your sight. Keep sound wisdom and discretion, so they will be life to your soul and adornment to your neck. Then you will walk in your way securely, and your foot will not stumble. When you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet." It says, walking in God's wisdom spares us from many mistakes and making many wrong decisions. Seeking God's wisdom protects our ways. It protects us from stumbling. It protects us from getting the consequences that can come because of wrong decisions. Wisdom of God gives us enough tools and knowledge and understanding, which helps us in make any crucial decisions that we want to make in our life. Because we all know and we all might have experiences the consequences of making wrong decision. And we understand how hard it can be, how hurtful it can be, how it can affect us, the consequences of wrong decisions, how it can take our peace and affect our sleep at night. But God's wisdom protects us from stumbling. It protects us from consequences because God's wisdom spares us from any mistakes and making wrong decisions. Wisdom brings guidance of God. Wisdom brings understanding of God. Wisdom helps us to understand what God is saying in one particular time, in context of one particular thing. God's wisdom provides us with strategies. God's wisdom provides us with plans. God's wisdom provides us all understanding and wisdom that we need to do certain things in our life. Second is wisdom brings prosperity. Proverbs 8:17-21 says this: I love those who love me, and those who diligently seek me will find me. The pronoun I here refers to the wisdom. Wisdom says, I love those who loves me, and those who diligently seek me will find me. Riches and honor are with me, enduring wealth and righteousness. My fruit is better than gold, even pure gold, and my yield better than choicest silver. I walk in the way of righteousness, in the midst of the paths of justice, to endow those who love me with wealth, that I may fill their treasures. God's wisdom, walking in God's wisdom, seeking in God's wisdom brings prosperity. And when God talks about prosperity, He does not only talking about a wealth, prosperity in a context of wealth, but when God talks about prosperity, the perspective of God on prosperity is not only material goods, but it's in a prosperity in relationship, it's prosperity in health, it's prosperity in happiness, it's prosperity in living a fruitful and a fulfilled life. Walking in God's wisdom helps us prosper in every areas of our life. It helps us prosper in our business, it helps us prosper in our ministry, in our organizations, in our relationship, in our health, because that's what God's wisdom does. Third is wisdom brings peace. Proverbs 3:13-17 says this: Blessed is the one who finds wisdom, and the one who gets understanding, for the gain from her is better than gain from silver, and her profit better than gold. She is more precious than jewel, and nothing you desire can compare with her. Long life is in her right hand, in her left hand are riches and honor. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and her paths are peace. Walking in God's wisdom brings peace because it helps us avoid wrong decisions. It helps us avoid making investments in wrong places. Either it's a wealth, either it's an organization, either it's a relationship. It protects us from consequences. It helps us to preserve peace in our life. And these are the three very crucial things of our life that we all want to succeed. We all want to prosper, and we all want to have a peace in our life. And the importance of wisdom is wisdom rewards us with understanding and guidance. Wisdom rewards us with prosperity in every aspect of our life, and wisdom rewards us with peace. Because the true definition of wisdom is the wisdom of God, the wisdom that comes from Yahweh, the wisdom that God provides according to His nature and character and according to His understanding. Because it fills us with that fear of God. It protects us from making wrong decisions. It enables us to walk in a righteous life. It enables us to live a holy life. It enables us to live a life of obedience to God and the things that God has spoken in our life. And when we do that, when we walk in God's wisdom, when we seek God's wisdom and make it our priority to live our life according to God's wisdom, we see ourselves prospering. We see ourselves walking in peace. We see our health being sustained. We see our relationship stirred. We see our ministry, our organizations, our businesses being fruitful because we have chosen to do it with God. We have chosen to do it with God's wisdom. We have chosen to adopt God's understanding in what we are doing. And that's the importance of wisdom, because wisdom is rewarding, and the rewards of the wisdom are eternal.